What's up, you guys? So this video is going to be on the vocab of Unit 3, Lesson 1, also found on page 140 in your book. Like usual, we have pictures that go along with kind of the little mini sentence paragraphs that go throughout the pages. And then we're going to be focusing on the blue bolded either words or phrases, kind of depending on which is which, that are the new things that we're covering. So as you can kind of tell, and if you were in class and you also listened to it, it was basically food, meals, other drinks and things that we can use when we talk about what we enjoy eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then a couple of adjectives that help you describe if something is like tasty, or if it's horrible, or if it's like nutritious and good for you, and then if you like it or don't like it, basically. So we'll get started at the top. Part A, we have Rodrigo and his little sister eating. So he says, "Hola, me llamo Rodrigo, y ella es Ana, tu little sister. Son las 8 de la mañana." That kind of gives you the hint, as in the time of day it is, so the meal that they're probably eating. And he says, "Es importante," or "it's important." That's a cognate. It looks kind of like the word in English, so hopefully kind of easy to figure out what it meant. Comer, it's an old word to eat. Un desayuno nutritivo todos los días. So because he said it was 8 de la mañana, or 8 in the morning, you're assuming they're probably having breakfast. He says, "Es importante," or "it's important to eat." This is a new word. Un desayuno. Un just means a something. Here in the picture, it just says the something. So you're talking about breakfast, and you can kind of tell that by the food that they have hanging out on their plates. So he says it's important to eat a breakfast that he would consider nutritivo, or a nutritious breakfast. So those are the foods that you can kind of see that he considers to be nutritious, and I think I agree. And he says that it's important to do this todos los días, every day, or all the days technically, but we don't say all the days. We say every day instead. So we had our big picture with el desayuno, the breakfast, and they each have different meals that they have in front of them, or different foods on their plates. We have los huevos, which are eggs. You can see them on Rodrigo's plate. El pan, which is just bread. So it can be like toasted bread. It could be just like sandwich bread. It can be like a baguette of some kind here that they kind of cut up. But either way, bread. They have it hanging out in the middle. Wrong way. El cereal looks like it does in English, pretty much pronounced just a little bit different in Spanish, and that's what his little hermanita, his little sister, is eating right here. She also has a drink and another little thing in a little jar, which would be el yogur and la leche, because she had milk. Got a couple of other things on here. So you have el café, you have el jugo de naranja. We had el jugo before when we first talked about foods and drinks, maybe 2 chapters ago, something like that. But here we have specifically juice of something. In this case, naranja being orange. So if you ever want to give a specific type of something, you always say de, and then the like flavor, basically. So I know this is tiny to see, and I can't really zoom into too much anymore, but it says el yogur, and then on the container it says de, and then it says fresa, F-R-E-S-A. It's a small word. It just basically means strawberry. So it's like it's yogurt, it's strawberry yogurt. Just like it's juice, but it's orange juice. So if you have a certain type of thing that you want, you basically say like the juice, or like the milk if you want chocolate milk or strawberry milk or something like that. So you say the name of the thing, and then you say de, and then whatever like flavor or type it's supposed to be. So we kind of had him, and he had the jugo de naranja. Excuse me, he had the orange juice for him. We have part B here. So a couple of other foods and drinks and things that he enjoys. He says, "Cuando tengo hambre." So when I have a certain feeling, in this case, hunger. So when I have hunger, when I'm hungry, that's all he means. Cuando tengo hambre, me gusta, old phrase for I like, me gusta comer huevos y pan. So when I'm hungry, I like to eat eggs and bread. So like probably eggs and toast. Cuando tengo sed, when I'm thirsty, so when I have thirst, bebo, I drink, jugo de naranja, orange juice, which is what he had right here in his plate. Me gusta mucho porque es rico. I like it a lot because it's tasty. Rico looks like another word that is supposed to mean something like rich. Like if you are a rich person, they can call you rico, or if you're a rich girl, rica. But we're not talking about money here, so do not confuse that with that. This is just something that is tasty, or like delicious, whichever word you prefer to use. Nunca, so I never, bebo café. He never drinks café or coffee, porque es horrible, because it's horrible. So it looks exactly like it does in English. You just don't pronounce the H, of course, in Spanish, but he says it's horrible, so he never has coffee. We also had a couple of question words down here. We went over them in class as well, and I'll probably do a video specifically on question words for you guys in a bit. But we have question words at the bottom, or some of the question words at the bottom as well. But we're doing foods and drinks in this one. So second page, 141, we have lunch and dinner that he talks about. So it says, es la una, it is one, so a different time, a different meal. Y ahora just means now. So it's like it's 1 o'clock, and now Marisol, or his friend, y yo, Marisol and I, are eating, comemos, because it's EMOS since two people are doing it, and he's one of them. So it's like we are going to go eat el almuerzo, or lunch, and you can kind of see el almuerzo, and they have another meal going on here. En la cafetería, so at the cafeteria, we're assuming at school. Venden, which means that they sell muchas comidas. So the cafeteria, all the people that work there, maybe they have like different vendors, who knows, but they sell lots of foods, and he mentions a few. Sandwiches, which are sandwiches, of course. Hamburguesas, hamburgers. Y sopa, which would be soup. También venden, they also sell bebidas, or drinks, and he mentions a few. Leche, which we had in the first picture for the milk. Jugos, juices, different types of juices, I'm assuming, and refrescos, different sodas as well. So here you have a couple of examples of those foods. And if you remember, like I said, this just says sandwiches, so they just said sandwiches, but here they're giving us a specific type of sandwich. So they said el sándwich de, they're giving it the type of sandwich it's going to be, jamón y queso, ham and cheese. So it's a ham and cheese sandwich. Maybe they also have like chicken sandwiches, or maybe they have turkey sandwiches. They have other kinds. So you would just say el sándwich de if you want a grilled cheese, sándwich de queso, right? Or we don't have this word yet, but maybe you remember the word chicken. Maybe you want a chicken sandwich. Sándwich de pollo, Pollo, would be the word for chicken. So you just kind of replace the ending of it after the with the type that you want. We also have la hamburguesa, the burger. If you notice, it's a hamburger. It's not a cheeseburger. If you wanted a cheeseburger instead, you have the word con, which means, or is spelled, C-O-N, which means with. If you say la hamburguesa con queso, with cheese, it would be a cheeseburger. So you can kind of change that if you don't like burgers and you want a cheeseburger instead. Say con queso, and then it's with cheese. Then we also had la sopa. So they talked about how they have soups, and he has, looks like maybe a veggie or like a tomato soup here, and then they have a sopa de pollo, or like a chicken noodle soup here instead. So we have the full plates. He had a sandwich and some soup and some milk. She had a burger and some milk as well. And then for dinner, our last section. So she said, or he says, my bad, Marisol y yo compramos. So Marisol and I, again, both of them, compramos fruta. They're going to buy. Comprar is to buy, but it's conjugated for both of them again, because both of them are at the grocery store. Compramos fruta, or fruit. Para means for my dad, for my father. And things that they buy. Manzanas, right down here. Bananas, easy enough, looks exactly like it does in English. Y uvas, which are right here. So they're buying apples, bananas, and grapes. Then he talks about dinner. So, la cena, which would be the last meal here, es a las 7. So dinner is at 7. Y tengo ganas, this is another feeling, but it's like when you have a hankering for something, like you're like, I feel like pizza for dinner, or like I really want ice cream. Like when you have something that you just want to eat, maybe not that that you have like a, what's the word? Not so much like a hankering as in I just want this versus this, but it's just like I feel like, in this case, having some food. Maybe it's pizza, maybe it's ice cream, maybe it's something else. But he's saying that it's 7 o'clock, and the last time he ate was like at 1. So he says, dinner's at 7, and I feel like eating. Like he's starting to get hungry, so he's starting to get a feeling of like I should probably get something to eat. So tengo ganas de comer. I feel like eating. Siempre, so I always. Siempre como, it's still eating, but it's conjugated for him because he's saying how he feels hungry and how he always eats. In this case, I always eat a lot when my mom prepares the food. So if his mom's cooking, I'm assuming he likes it, and so he tends to eat more. If maybe someone else is cooking, maybe his dad, maybe he's not a huge fan of the food and he doesn't eat as much. But he says, it's 7, I feel like eating, and I always eat a lot when my mom makes the food or prepares the food, and she's probably the one prepping it, so he's excited for dinner. But here we have breakfast, lunch, dinner, a couple of different foods and drinks, a couple of fruits and things like that we can add for our food vocab from last time, where we had pizza and fries and like cookies and ice cream and all the little snacks. But we have a couple more here, so we'll continue practicing this in class if you haven't already done it. And then we have one last chapter in about maybe 2 or 3 months, where we have like more dinner foods as well. So like chicken and rice and salads and stuff like that. But we'll go over that in a couple of weeks. All right. I'll see you guys in class.